Previously in our maxing grind, we've been heavily focused on agility. We did take a detour to the Guardians of the Rift though to get 65 rune crafting as per a requirement for RD Elite Diary. Now why do we need RD Elite Diary, you may ask? RD Elite gives bonus marks of grace as well as EXP, which is the more important thing for us at the RD Rooftop course. And that's going to be our game plan from 90 to 99 agility. Along the way though, in order to meet the requirements to RD Elite Diary, while we do have the rune crafting requirement out the way, we have a pretty steep smithing level to get 91 smithing. Currently, we are just 73 smithing. The first thing we're going to do is POH Telly and get back on the standard spellbook just so we don't have to burn up house tabs to gain access to teleport around. And then we're going to go ahead and do a birdhouse run because as I mentioned before, throughout the Guardians of the Rift grind, I neglected to do birdhouse runs just because it was kind of inconvenient to do so. But now that we're done with that, then get back to the birdhouse runs. Currently we are 88 hunter with 332k EXP until 89, and that's when we can move up to redwood birdhouses. We already did the crafting grind at 90, which is also another requirement for the redwood birdhouses, so it's just hunter levels from here. With the rune crafting grind done for now, it's time to move on to smithing. But as per usual, gotta do a birdhouse run real quick. Now actually, it's been a couple days later since I last finished the rune crafting grind, and that's because I've come down with a massive migraine. Over the years, unfortunately, this just happens to me from time to time, but as such, I've just kind of taken my time, just chilled out a little bit, haven't been on the game too much. With that being said though, let's move on over to the blast furnace. Let's go ahead and minigame teleport there now. I went ahead and geared myself up in full graceful, something we only relatively recently accomplished, so very good timing on that. Well, it's full graceful outside of the glove slot here, as we need ice gloves and goldsmith gauntlets to properly do the blast furnace. Well, the gauntlets obviously are for better EXP per ore, and without it, the EXP per hour is going to be really abysmal here. So important to have that on. And ice gloves, that's just so you can pull from the bar dispenser right away. Now, I don't think I'm going to be doing all of my smithing grind here at Blast Furnace. Definitely the majority. However, I'm going to find times where I'm just kind of lazy and don't want to do it. And any EXP is better than no EXP. And as such, I'll probably be AFKing gold bars at a regular furnace from time to time. Again, this is not going to be like too often. Like 99.9% of the EXP is going to come from here. Because when you're not using Blast Furnace, it's honestly pretty slow if you're smithing bars. Right now, sitting in our bank, we just have 3.3k gold ore, and if we want to be semi-efficient, we're also going to need stamina pots, in which I have just 13 4-dosers sitting in the bank right now. Not to worry though, while I will get started right now, I can transfer over some extended staminas, and I have a whole ton more gold ore available on the other account's bank right now. And a quick POV switch over to our maxed account wait for it here. If you're wondering where stamina pots come from, or extended staminas more specifically, you simply combine stamina potions with marlin scales, in which you get from trawling marlins out in the ocean. Alright, let's get started with the gold ore here. First batch in. Once the EXP drops, switch over to the ice gloves so I can pick them up and then bank them. And repeat, and once our stamina starts dropping, I'm going to sip an extended stamina, and we will be doing that occasionally to upkeep our stamina. Now, I think there is a more efficient method here. You see how I had to wait there for the gold bars? I think there's a technique that you can do to remove that delay. Now, it's been a long time since I was here at Blast Furnace, and to be honest, I don't know if I ever figured that out. So I might ask around, might look this up and figure out how I can do this just slightly more efficiently. Although I'm not too concerned with it, but it would be nice to know and see if I can go about doing that. And just as we did in Guardians of the Rift, I also went ahead and turned Entity Hider on here just so I could see more clearly what I was doing and not the bajillion people here, so. Alright, I believe the tech here, if I'm not mistaken, is simply to preload the furnace with an inventory full of bars. So that's actually my second inventory right there. And alright, we'll just see how this goes, I suppose. Right now we have 27 bars in there. I chucked the gold ore in. Gotta wait for the EXP drop. Ice gloves. I already messed up once and didn't get the bonus EXP. I am accounting for this. I have more than enough gold ore to get through, even accounting for some mistakes. So, I mean, obviously we want to avoid making those mistakes, but it's not the end of the world. Plus, we can always just get more gold ore really quickly, whether it's buying it from the shop here or just doing more content like Chambers of Zarek. Okay, I think I figured out the tech. I'm not executing it 100% here, but for example right there, I think I did it, although my pathing was bad. If I end up on the correct side here, I should be able to just smoothly run from the conveyor belt past the bar dispenser while picking up the ores, or the bars I should say. Oh, I just messed up again. But it should be one fluid thing without stopping, and I should be able to get better EXP an hour. Although, if I continue to mess up like this, I should just be better off just doing it the normal way and not concerning myself with this method. But it would be nice if I could get this method down. Again, I did the timing there correctly, I think, but I stopped my character. The pathing was bad there, so if I just clean that up, I could speed this up just a tiny bit. Either way, smithing at the blast furnace is going to be very, very quick, so no big deal if I can't get this down. And actually, it's time for a birdhouse run, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, this run right here is the best as to what I can do, at least in terms of the effort I want to put in. I do have to wait on the north side for a little bit there, but it's still quicker than not having any gold bars preloaded at all. So it's kind of like an in-between. This is more efficient than usual, but it's still not the most efficient method, in which I believe you can get like upwards of 400k EXP an hour. Yeah, we're not going to be obtaining that. No worries there, but this is what I'm going to be doing for the foreseeable future. Basically, as soon as I click, or as soon as I deposit the gold ore, I can go ahead and just click on the dispenser, and my character will make it in time to where the interface opens up, so then it will delay or stall the EXP drop, and that way I have all the time in the world to click on my goldsmith gauntlets. And as long as I do this, as long as I instantly click every single time, I'm never going to miss the EXP drop with the goldsmith gauntlets on. So obviously this is not the most efficient method, like I said, but a little in between. And just like that, with this coming inventory right here, we're gonna be 75 smithing. A whole bunch of unlocks, but I'm not gonna waste any time reading that right now. I did see an Addy scimitar. Currently, we are quite literally burning GP in our coffer. You know, every second that we're here, it's gonna cost us a little bit of GP. I did put out 1 mil GP to start with, which is gonna last us another 13 hours, so that's gonna be a while. Don't know how long this is going to take. I didn't do the math, but we do have to go from 73 smithing, which is what we started at, all the way to 91. Now, we could stop earlier and boost, but boosting is something I never really like to do, so I'm going to go ahead and go all the way to 91. Our objective is to max anyways, right? We actually haven't even been here too long, and we already gained 2 levels. And the efficiency is only going to get better and better as I fall into a rhythm here. It was definitely a bit of a rough go to start with, but the longer I do this, it's the same pattern over and over again, very repeatable, and the EXP rates are going to increase. Well, there's obviously a limit, but right now the EXP per hour on the sidebar is still going up. The changes they've made over the years to stamina and the introduction of extended staminas has made this so incredibly good. We quite literally never run out of stamina. In one more inventory here, I'm going to resip another extended stamina dose, but I just want to say, back in the day, even if you use staminas, you would inevitably run out of stamina anyways, despite being potted up. So you would either have to use energy potions or extra stamina pots, but it seems like with extended staminas and the faster stamina regen now, it seems like I never run out of stamina at all. And that is 70 smithing, more Addy tier unlocks, but we keep on going. 77 smithing, adamant full helms. And another level coming in, 78. 79 smithing, we're making good progress here. level 80 smithing, another skill 80 plus. Current total level is 1967, closer and closer to 2000 as well. Another day, another level. There we go, 81 smithing, 10 more levels to go until we have the requirement for RD Elite. Just had myself a nice meal, but back to the blast furnace we are, and with this inventory, 82 smithing. We can now craft or smith the Blade of Sealdor and Bofa. Pretty relevant stuff, but you can also just simply pay for them if you don't meet the requirements. It's that time for a birdhouse run again. Basically, anytime I'm online, I'm always looking to do the birdhouse runs when they come up. As for our hunter level right now, we're still sitting at 88 with 280k EXP until 89, and that's going to be redwood birdhouses. As far as smithing goes, obviously we've been working on that, and we've been holding steady at about 330k EXP an hour or so. Now keep in mind, this is because I'm not doing the most optimal method at the not blacksmithing, the blast furnace. So EXP isn't too great, and also obviously we are stepping away to do birdhouse runs every 50 minutes. So all things considered, I'm pretty happy about the EXP rates we're getting so far, and we're actually very close to the next level. A couple inventories later, back at the blast furnace, and this is 83 smithing. Members can now make oath plate. Okay, that is absolutely huge actually. We do still need a second set of oath plate armor. Obviously, we have the one on wait for it, but we're going to need a whole nother set for this account in the future. So that's good to know. And actually, to this day, I don't have the full set of oath plate in my collection log. I had to make the helmet. I did get the top and leg drops as actual items, but I ended up making the third piece of armor. It's crazy to think that despite how fast this skill is at the blast furnace, gaining well over 300k EXP an hour, hitting 84 smithing, we can now make adamant two-handed swords. That this is still going to take at least another 30 hours or so to get to 99. Now, that's right, 99. Our goal right now is 91, but as I've been on this grind, I'm contemplating whether or not to just straight shoot it to 99 since we're here already. And that's going to be our ultimate goal anyways. Obviously, I have a lot of time to think about this, but that idea has crept into my mind. So we'll see what happens. With this batch of gold ore, we are going to hit 85 smithing. What's that going to unlock? Runite ore and sigils to bless spirit shields. Actually, I had no idea that required a smithing level. Anyways, we're now in the territory where it takes about an hour, give or take a couple of minutes, to get a level. So despite us at a blistering pace right now, gaining levels every so often at a rate of 330k EXP an hour, it's definitely slowing down in terms of the levels. In fact, according to my EXP tracker right now, we are right on pace to get to 86 smithing in about 1 hour's time. I know when I first started the smithing grind, I said that I would mostly be doing blast furnace with a touch of regular smelting for the gold bars, and to be honest, I did give that a go, and I think that was just pure copium. The smithing at the regular furnace is just way too slow. It takes literal minutes just to get through one inventory. And here at the blast furnace, it's like a couple of seconds and boom, you have 27 gold bars. So with that being said, with whatever downtime I have, I might be better served to do something else or just get off the game entirely, to be honest. Obviously, we're still at the blast furnace on 416 Hero, but checking in with wait for it for a little bit here. We're doing some rune crafting, upkeeping our blood runes as we always need those. And obviously, at the blast furnace, it does require a decent amount of attention, so I'm not exactly PVMing or doing anything intensive on this account. Blood rune crafting at Zaya is the right level of background activity that I can do while constantly running the gold ore to the furnace. We're closer to 86 than we are 85 now, and honestly, hitting 85 earlier, I made the realization we're just 25% of the way there to 99. Because if you didn't know, fun fact here, I suppose, the way the scaling works is every 7 levels is actually double the EXP. So we all know 92 is infamously halfway to 99, but likewise, 85 is halfway to 92. And here comes another... Okay, bit of a delay there. 86 smithing, another level. Adamant plate legs, rune keel parts. That's going to be useful for sailing later. Actually, that's a good reason why we're doing smithing now. Beyond just the RD diary and 99 in general, it's going to be pretty crucial to upgrade our ships for the sailing skill. The previous few levels we've gained here at Blast Furnace have all been the same day today so far. So massive day in terms of EXP gains, but honestly, I'm not sure I could keep this up. It's kind of a weird thing because Blast Furnace, once you get it going, it's just a repetitive thing, right? You deposit the gold ore, you come to the collection point, you collect as you switch into your gold gauntlets, you switch back and you deposit and withdraw, rinse and repeat. Despite its repetitiveness, it does kind of take a lot out of you. I don't know what it is. I guess it's because you have to be in constant motion. So you do have to focus, otherwise your EXP rates drop off pretty quickly. Keep in mind, I'm not even doing the most efficient method right now. I'm kind of doing like a little halfway thing where yes, I did preload the furnace so that there's little to no wait time like this. But I'm not maneuvering my character in a way to where I'm just constantly running. I think that's what should be happening if you're doing the max efficiency. But yeah, with that being said, while we have a big EXP day today so far, I don't know if I can keep this up. So this road to 91 and then definitely the road to 99 could take a while. I think the game plan right now is once we reach 91, we definitely will step out of here to do the diary at the very least. And then we'll decide if we want to come back and go from 91 to 99. It's still the same day right now, and we are gaming. Another level coming right up. We're going to be hitting 87 smithing. Rune maces and Shazian boots 5. Making them, is that even relevant anymore? Honestly, I have no idea. I think earlier I briefly mentioned how this is actually pretty taxing, it's pretty draining, but here we're approaching a 2 mil smithing EXP day. I probably won't go much further than that for the day though, and I doubt tomorrow or the next day I'm actually going to get another 2 mil EXP day, but who knows, we'll see. Obviously when we get closer and closer to a 99, the motivation does increase a little bit too, so we'll just see what happens. Oh, too busy yapping away in the clan chat, but 88 smithing, 1975 total. We're making good progress. Well, after gaining 2.3 mil EXP of smithing EXP at the blast furnace for today, I'm definitely going to call it there. Our main objective is still 91 smithing. We're at 88 now, so 3 more levels to go. Then we're going to go do our RD Elite Diary. And I think while we're not at 91 yet, I have decided I'm just going to straight shoot it to 99. But with that being said though, all this smithing EXP for today is more than enough, but I'm still on for the night for a little bit longer. So I made my way here to Barbarian Fishing because currently we are 90 fishing. This is probably going to be a grind to 99 I'm going to do relatively shortly, perhaps even after the smithing and the RD Elite. I know I mentioned that I want to get 99 agility out the way as soon as possible, but Barbarian Fishing does give me a little bit of agility, and I think at the very least it might save me an entire day and hundreds of laps at the RD rooftop courses, so I might as well do that. Another day and we are back at the blast furnace. We last left off at 88 smithing and hopefully we pick up a few more levels today. Things are going to be slowing down obviously in terms of how many levels we can get in one session, but EXP still is going to be flying at well over 300k EXP an hour. And while we're working on running the gold ore to the furnace, we've been using extended stamina potions, in which on the maxed account right now, we're going to make a couple more of those. I have a seemingly endless supply of stamina potions, but I didn't make very many extended variants, which are actually incredibly useful at the blast furnace right now. So let's go ahead and make some more of those. We just got done with a batch of extended staminas, now on to the redwood trees. Now if you're wondering why I'm chopping redwoods, well I actually have plenty of those sitting in the bank, but as we do birdhouses we're going to go through a whole lot of them. And it's good to get more woodcutting EXP anyways. But as for why I specifically need more logs, well the reasoning is we're going to be prepping for fletching down the line. On 416 Hero, we're currently 74 fletching, and I think I'm mostly going to be making arrows. Obviously, that's still subject to change at this point, but I'm keeping my options open and just being prepared. So we're going to be cutting these redwood logs and then converting them into arrow shafts, which is why I have the knife in my inventory. Now, we don't necessarily have to do redwoods, but because we have the levels obviously being maxed, redwoods are the best available option. I believe they give out like 90 arrow shafts per log or something insane like that. The higher the tier, the more arrow shafts per log. Slight correction, it's actually more than 90. It's 105 arrow shafts per log. Chopping the redwoods should be very easy to do in the background while we're running the blast furnace. Feels like at the blast furnace, it always takes a couple of runs before you get into the groove, but we're pacing now, 89 smithing. We can now do rune short swords. You know, kind of weird thing there. I never heard anybody ever recall or refer to it as the rune short sword, just the rune sword, but I guess that's what it is. I think I saw rune nails in the pop-up there as well, which is going to be pretty relevant for sailing, building our boats. Switching the POV back over to wait for it, chopping away at the redwoods. Now the smart thing would be to do, I'm sure someone was thinking of this, is to simply just run Kingdom and get maple logs or something, and then that way I'll have a ton of logs to convert into arrow shafts. Well, that costs GP, and it's no like real tangible gains on the account. At least this way it gives my account something to do and gain woodcutting and fletching EXP. Now I'm not too big of a skiller, but I am just 35 million EXP shy from getting 1 build total EXP. That would be pretty neat to get. We've made it to 90 smithing, another level 90 in the books. We can now make a rune scimitar, among other things like a dragon fire shield, which is something I still don't have on any account, unfortunately. Any Ironman account, that is. Obviously on a main you can just buy one. But in terms of our goal here, we need one more level, get 91 to do the RD Elite Diary. To get from 90 to 91, we're going to need another 550k EXP or so. That's going to be just under... Well, actually right now we're pacing 345k per hour. So it's going to be between 1 to 2 hours, not quite 2 hours. And after we do the RD Elite Diary, we can come straight back and shoot for 99. And yes, I do have all the gold ore banked. And I didn't have to buy any of it or anything like that because I think I have a lot of gold ore mostly from the Chambers of Xerix. I'm sure from other sources as well, but definitely the majority of it is from the Chambers of Xerix. And yes, we could have boosted to get to 91 smithing. But why would we do that if we're going to need to get the levels to max anyways, right? Doing the RD Elite Diary now or in about 2 hours time makes absolutely no difference. We've kept at it here at the blast furnace, and I actually had to put another 2 mil GP into the coffer to keep it up and running. I think that should be more than enough to carry us all the way to 99. But with this last inventory of gold ore, this should get us to 91, and then let's get out of here and do the Elite RD Diary. Well, before we can do RD Elite, we gotta do medium and hard. Obviously, we did easy a long time ago, and to be honest, I probably should have did medium a long time ago too, but we're just gonna get medium, hard, and then Elite all done in one go. Our first step here is to get to Intrana. It's always a bit annoying to get to Intrana because you can't bring weapons and armor and certain things. Easiest way is to just be absolutely naked, I guess. I do need these 11 U-logs though because I am taking the hot air balloon. Alright, for this task I actually had to make this trip twice because the first time I had to set up the route. The second time with just 1 U-log in my inventory, we should automatically go over to Castle Wars. You know, speaking of this task, Has anyone unironically used the hot air balloons as a means of travel? Because I certainly have never done that. Yanil South Wall grapple shortcut with our Dragon Hunter crossbow. To be honest, I didn't even remember that we had one sitting on this account. A lot of dupes probably sitting in this account's bank. But there we have it. Another task completed. Let's climb back over, actually. Another task in the Yanil area. We got to claim some sand from Bert. Now, upon completion of RD Elite, Bert's actually going to automatically deposit sand into our bank. If you're still working on crafting as a typical Ironman, that's actually pretty useful. The sand will just build up. A little bit of passive sand rather than having to get all of your sand by manually mining it. For us though, our crafting EXP is already covered from 90 to 99, and luckily we won't need any of the sand, but it's nice to collect nonetheless. We have a lot of quests to do on this account, but at the same time we've done a lot of them already, thankfully. So with a task like this, we have to fish from any of these fishing platforms here, and you require the completion of Sea Slug to do this. Luckily we already did that. Pickpocket a master farmer. I don't think I've actually done that at all on this account, but there we go. And last step, RD Zoo in the cage with the unicorns, and this will be RD medium completed. We're going to get a nice EXP lamp out of this as well. As we make our way over to claim our rewards, each tier of RD diaries completed gives you an extra boost in thieving success rate, and obviously the teleport to the RD Monastery right off the get-go at the easy tier, and that's honestly why the RD Easy Diary is so and that's honestly why the RD Easy Diary is so important to do for early game Ironman, because it's an early unlimited teleport to replenish your prayer, to get to a fairy ring, and relatively close to a bank as well as a spirit tree. Well, with RD Medium out the way now, we move on to the hard tier, and in terms of farming patches, bush patches like this, luckily we went ahead and preemptively did these before. So all we have to do is pick from the bush patch, in which actually I would probably want to switch this back to a white berry bush. That's more useful, but that is the task completed. With each tier of the RD diaries, you'll also gain access to more teleports per day to the RD farm patch, until you get to Elite, in which you have unlimited teleports. Next step, we're actually going to have to relocate our house to Yanil. Quite frankly, I don't even know where the POH is located on this account. We never use it. 68 smithing required for this next step, but we are at 91, so we're definitely good on that. We're going to make some... Oh, that's not what we want to make. We want to make a mithril plate body. Good thing I canceled that. And there we have it. Next step, to the Legends Guild, which I think the fastest way to get there is a fairy ring. Do I remember the fairy ring code? Probably not. CLS maybe? Nope, not even close. BLR. Has anyone unironically used this bank chest at the top of the Legends Guild? Honestly, I didn't even know this was here. I need some sort of necklace or something. I just need to recharge some jewelry. I don't think I have any. What a weird problem to have. Wait, Amulet of Glory? That might do the trick. Alright, if I had read, I would have known that you can only recharge a skills necklace or a combat bracelet there. And I actually don't have either of those, so here on the maxed account, I'm actually going to make one real quick. Alright, now this should do the trick. Use the skills necklace on the totem. There we have it. 72 thieving required to open this chest with a lockpick. We got ourselves a good couple items there, actually. Okay. Next up, smith a dragon square shield in West Ardy. Now, I actually don't have either half of the shield. I do think I can buy one at the Mist Guild, if I remember correctly. And surely the maxed account has a spare shield left half or two. At the top of the Mist Guild, first try, it's Erdan. And shield right half, will be buying that. I didn't even check how much that cost. Hopefully not too much. And sure enough, let's access the group storage right now. The maxed account had 8 shield left halves to spare, so there we have it. And now let's make sure we use the correct anvil here. West Ardy. In a random house in West Ardy. Here we are. Let's go ahead and make the shield. Heading into the Abyss now, and that's just to access the Death Altar. This is the exact reason why we did Guardians of the Rift, to get to 65 runecrafting with what feels like a long time ago at this point. For this very reason. Now, I already have the Death Altar marked, or the Death Rift specifically. And here we go. That's gonna be already hard done. Let's go back to Artie once again and claim our rewards. I don't have a TP out of here. What am I doing? I will be claiming my hard tier rewards. Thank you very much. That's another EXP lamp. We'll use those after completing all the diaries. To start the Elite Diary off, this is another situation where we took the time earlier to pre-plant something. Luckily, this did grow a torstal, and I don't have a spade. Okay. Let's see how many torstals we can get out of this. We do have our magic secateurs in our inventory, so a little bonus. This seems like a pretty good haul, actually. This is torstal. Yeah, not bad at all. What is that? 15? That is 15 torstal. Our next task is to cast Ice Barrage on a player in Castle Wars. So I'm just going to bring my other account along. And unfortunately, while I did say I was going to save these lamps until I completed the diaries, looks like I'm going to have to use them now because I can't bank them, and evidently I can't bring them in the Castle Wars. I'm going to be using this on Slayer, so that's 15,000 EXP there. And then 7,500 from the medium diary in the Slayer. We're currently 88 Slayer. And yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Slayer, honestly, so that's why I've been putting EXP lamps in the Slayer. Oh, didn't quite catch this. I didn't realize this was the actual task, but I just had to pick lock this door, and that was this. Just a few more tasks remaining. I'm making my way over to Port Khazard for this next task at the moment, and that's to catch a manta ray in the fishing trawler minigame, and then cook it in Port Khazard. Alright, one full trawling game done with full contribution. Surely I get manta rays, right? Surely. Alright, moment of truth. Inspect the trawler net. 18 manta rays, okay. Oh, and I guess I might as well pick up the 6 raw sea turtles. Let's bank all of that. Let's get our cooking gauntlets out. Actually, I have no idea if those even help. It's really weird. The cooking gauntlets actually don't work on a lot of things. Not sure if the manta rays work or not, but... Oh wait, do I not even have cooking gauntlets on this account? Oh, you know what? I never did the mini quest that enables you to have all 3 gauntlet options. Now, if I did the family pest mini quest, I believe it's called, then I'd be able to have all 3 at the time. The third one being the chaos gauntlets, which are rarely used, to be honest. You know what? I never picked those up for the Karam ones I cooked because obviously that didn't work. Manta rays... Will I burn this? Nope, first try. There we go. That's the task completed. And we did all those Relica course laps for this moment right here. 1 lap of the RD rooftop course. Surely I don't fall off at any point, right? Oh, yep, that answers my question. Alright, I won't lie. I've fallen off like 3 times. Surely not this time though, right? And we are good. That's our very first lap out of over 8,000 that we're going to have to do to get to 99. Next up, pickpocket this hero. Of course, we fail with 99 thieving. Let's try again. There we go. And now we just have 1 task left to do. And this is the reason why we did the 91 smithing grind. We're going to have to go make a rune crossbow from scratch. You have to do everything within the RD region except this. Getting the sinew, I think, is an exception. I just went ahead and killed a cow in the Lumbridge area. Step 1, we have to spin a crossbow string in Witch Haven. Step number 2, at Yanil, we have to smith a crossbow... Or, I'm sorry, the runite limbs. Okay, let's just be very careful here, you know? Let's not mess up and waste rune bars. That is stage 2 complete. And our quest helper is actually not updating correctly here, but step 3 is to use my knife on a U log and make a U stock or a crossbow stock. There we go. Now we combine the stock and the limbs together, and we get a runite crossbow unstrung. Now, do we just do this? Yep, oh, that's it. And that is actually RD Elite completed, just like that. Obviously, getting the level requirements took much, much longer, but doing the actual task, not so much. We're on the way to claim our rewards. Now, keep in mind, we did all of this just so that we would get bonus EXP or better EXP rates for the RD rooftop course whenever we get to that. But along the way, we decided that we're actually going to get 99 smithing first and maybe even 99 fishing as well. So yeah, I mean, we're going to get all 99s eventually anyways. It's just a matter of when and how and in what order. But let's go ahead and rub this antique lamp once again in the Slayer, a whopping 50,000 Slayer EXP. Very well worth it, in my opinion. Well, it certainly took a while for us to complete the RD Elite Diary, but I do recognize that it is well worth it, and it's going to be a massive, massive time save, as I mentioned before. With that being said, that's all the time I have for now. We're going to continue the maxing grind next.